everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's in the Tube, or welcome back if this is your third episode of Matlock. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're staying safe out there in the big old world. We got some great news. We got some really, really great news. It normally doesn't come this early. I've been doing this for more than 5 years now, and I've never had to say this early. Matlock has been renewed for season 2. I am so freaking happy. I really am. I was so energized. Honestly, I felt like, okay, we'll get some, like, earliest I've ever seen a show get renewed was in January. I'm like, never in like the first 2 episodes. I'm like, damn, this series is like, damn. I'm so happy for the cast, the crew, the entire production team behind the show. They really deserved it because, again, in 2 episodes, it made me feel really invested in the story. And honestly, again, like, we'll get more about that to this episode, particularly again, but like, I honestly was on edge again. And I'm like, I never liked that with TV shows. Because again, there's like some sort of like a predictability when it comes to it where like, they're not gonna like blow up the entire thing. It's very rare for shows to take big risks like that, to really delve into like the crafting of the scene, to really like kind of, again, the hook, the thing that set this entire show up in the first place is kind of what is working in its benefit. Like, us as the viewer, we know what the proposed storyline is for this first season now, and I'm happy to say that. And now we're at the position where, okay, now how do we get there? What do we have to go? What lessons do we have to kind of learn along the way? Because, you know, again, like, I've seen in a couple cases where you go undercover, you tend to gain like legitimate feelings. And, you know, it kind of questions like the original purpose and intent of your objective. And the way I was thinking here, like, again, you know, it's so weird, and again, it works so well to the acting of Katie Bates, where like, I don't even know what the heck she's doing, but I don't mean it in terms of her performance. I mean in her delivery. Like, what are the extra layers? Where like, I'm constantly surprised where it feels like a setback. It feels like we're getting somewhere, and then there's like another revelation. Like, oh right, we're really getting to it. We're really like, you know, keeping even the audience on its side, like what's actually a legitimate thing and what actually isn't. And I'm like, that's the type of thing that really like, damn, I really, really want to get to the next episode already. But like, again, it's a network television show. So, and that's something I haven't seen in a while where and I've watched a lot of network television. I watch a lot of them. I watch hundreds of shows by this point. And for me, like, it's crazy for me to still be giddy about a show like this, where like we're so many, like, besides the ones I watch, how many else there out there in the landscape, like, in order to like really hook into your audience like that. But no, I'm so happy that this cast will get to return next year. We get to keep reviewing more episodes next year. I'm really happy. I'm really happy. I was so elated when that news came out a couple days ago. I was like, pardon my French, fuck yes. This is, oh my God, this is, we're in for a good next year. We're in good for a good one. But again, until then, we still have an entire first season to review now, and then a whole second season to review down the road. I can't wait. I really can't wait. And I'm a little scared by that because, like, again, 2025 to 2026 seems like so far away. We're already about to crack into November in a couple less than a couple weeks from now. So I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. I really don't know. But with this week's, we're back to the present day. We're talking about far future stuff, focusing on like where we are at right now with this episode. This was really, really great. I love it to the fact that, like I said before, the show is really using the advantage with Madeline's undercover mission to the benefit of like actually creating real depth, real drama, so to speak. And that word is used very carelessly, to be honest with you, in a lot of shows nowadays. I won't say which ones because, you know, but they add on to it because, yeah, there are drama into it. But like at the end of the day, you know, is it really not? This is like a real drama for me. And this is the first time that, again, I mentioned this last time where like the series creator showrunner, Jenny Erman, did Jane the Virgin, which I loved back when it first came out within the last decade, and now she's starting to play into like her old roster of her cast members by then, bringing back Yale. I'm gonna butcher the last name. I never learned how to pronounce the last name. I really do apologize. Yale Gerberga. I completely apologize if I butchered the name. I really really am. But I loved your Rose Petra. I loved it. But yeah, so bringing her here, she always plays such a specific character in Jane the Virgin that bringing that kind of same weird code energy, but in a different way here was like, I miss it. I really, really do. It makes me want to buy all the Jane the Virgin DVDs, but they're pretty expensive, so someday. But anyway, but her inclusion really, it doesn't feel like an overstep. It doesn't feel like an overshout. It doesn't feel like it. Her inclusion is a natural, like, it's a new obstacle for Madeline to go through the road as she continues to try and develop a bond with Olympia, as well as, just, again, when you have that outside character described as, she really is someone that doesn't really take bullshit. She knows what bullshit is, and she's willing to look past it and tell you to your face, you're lying. This is bullshit. And I love that. I really, really do. And especially we got it so early on, which, again, I think that the writers really know how to keep us on our edge. We're like, for me, I would expect this type of episode to come towards like a crucial point later on, but like the fact we're getting it still so early on in the mission, in Madeline's mission, is like, damn, like I thought this was gonna make or break her entire undercover act. Which, again, I don't know why I think like that. We still have another 15 episodes to go after this, because like this is the nature of it. But just for me, I'm like, damn, we're still getting there. We're still getting there. But with all that praise being said, let's go through the Butcher recap and talk about this week's episode of Matlock. So we begin kind of bright and early. We're looking at a weird photograph of some man. Apparently it's a judge. Apparently Madeline's got a new case coming up, and she's got a pseudo court appearance tomorrow. And they're trying to do a little digging into him, seeing what they can really do as part of their, secretly continuing their master plan of like trying to get into Olympia's phone, considering the fact that's the first person of the big three at the firm that would probably be more involved in the opioids matter. So, and since Madeline is directly under her, that would be the first person to target. So they're trying to find a good way to like get that phone / eventual laptop into their possession so they can start figuring out what the hell's really going on there. We don't quite know the plan just quite yet, as we cut over to, I believe we cut over to the courtroom. I don't believe we're at the courtroom yet. I don't believe so. No, we're at the opening remarks section. Both Olympia and her defense attorney are going at it with each other. Seems to be going well. They're mostly in a jiggy round right now of juror selection, being a very particular case. They need to kind of figure out what exactly they need on their side. They're trying to like weed out everyone. It's a good montage, also putting Sarah into her abilities once more about social media digging and trying to really uncover the truth, like going like rapid fire succession, like trying to burn through as many potential jurors as we can. And eventually, once they kind of nail down the final jury selection, a little bit of a pet peeve where like Olympia like credits the three of them when in reality Sarah was the one who did everything. And Sarah's a bit, like, again, this is her we're talking about. She's a bit like, she's not quite the sharing type. She's more like she's going to work hard and she wants all the credit. So the fact that she did all the work, technically speaking, and everyone gets the credit is like, yeah, it does not bode well for her. It does not. As they're wrapping up the first day of the jury selection, Madeline's phone goes off and she bit of the old person vibe of like, just like not knowing how to operate the smartphone. The judge gets a little bit fed up with it and decides like, okay, that's it. Phones are banned. I'm not dealing with this right now. No phones in my courtroom, period. And initially I thought like, okay, was this Madeline actually making a mistake? No, this was part of the master plan. As the expectation now is that, okay, no one's allowed to use their phones, so we're not even having it in the jury room. And since Madeline's probably going to be benched because of her actions, that it would give her enough opportunity to be alone with the phone so she can get into it with her grandson operating the main computer. So that's the big master plan. But however, the another thing that she's kind of undermined is the content of his case, where like she's not particularly a big fan of it. And that's apparently because it's a sexual, what's the word? I apologize. Sexual misconduct. And it's a bit tricky considering the fact that, even Madeline's kind of remembering back to when she was a legitimate litigation lawyer. And that certain things when she was around, like nowadays it would come up more and more lawsuits, but back then it really kind of felt like one of those like shoe under the rug things. So I knew we were kind of getting into like a pretty interesting position here with the story. We cut back over to the main firm. They're meeting up with their client, who's kind of taking a little bit of a liking to Madeline. She's a little bit more comfortable around her. You know, that grandma energy around her kind of like soothes her a little bit as she's kind of going through this very tricky case right now. Trying to at least just pick out her outfit of choices right now, even joshing around a little bit with her. But of course, Madeline's still got her eyes on the prize, trying to get that phone away from her. Sarah's morally talking about like, okay, why is she crediting all of us? This is all on me, and I'm like, you just can't let everyone be nice. Can everyone ever be nice with this one? We get a little bit more of the tension vibes between Olympia and I forgot the other lawyer's name, the senior partner who. By this episode, I'm assuming either they were secretly dating or secretly boning or both. I don't really know 100% speaking, but they're still waiting for November so they can publicly come out as a couple once the Olympia's divorce from Julian is finalized. We'll take a little bit of a break with that. Julian comes over to Olympia, gets a little bit of a jousting session with her about the matter of the case. And it feels weird because, like, yeah, when like you have, and again, my parents are divorced, so it's very rare when you see those moments where like even though like their kids aren't present here, like just seeing the two soon-to-be exes like actually laughing and actually joking around with each other, like it actually makes me question why did they break up in the first place. But we'll probably get an episode about that in the future. He pitches that considering the fact this is a very tricky case to like really sue the jury over, that they might call in their secret weapon, the meerkat. Which is something that Olympia does not want to do, considering the fact she doesn't trust her. She doesn't feel like they need to use her just quite yet, even though they have the pro bono hours from her that they can use over here. She doesn't feel like using it. So the four of them, the five of them head over to court for the first proper day of the actual trial. Mainly, this is for the defendant Andrea. I forgot what her name is, but the client, and they're mostly just getting her judge a character, trying to get the lay of the land. It was apparently not apparently. What happened was that she worked at another firm. There was a work party that occurred during Christmas. She got a bit wasted, but however, she still was a little bit cognizant of what's going on. She is suing her former boss, who was being very, very like trying to engage in like very just a word to the wise, especially at work. Like, know your boundaries. Like, just don't get involved with people like that. Really don't. It's a very tricky area. Just avoid it entirely, because you never even know. Even the slightest like okay. That this topic comes with a lot of baggage. This comes with a lot of like tricky things, tricky angles to this war. I would just say try to avoid anything romantic or anything along that side of things at the workplace. This is my personal recommendation. Trust me, it never ends well. And there was an incident in the coat closet where she was trying to leave, and the boss was getting a little bit handsy with her. And the only reason why it never progressed to anywhere further is because she threw up on him, and that kind of set the mood for the entire rest of her work period, which was basically avoiding him, missing deadlines, like her work was suffering, and the firm fired her because of her work performance. She did file a few official complaints against him, but they never were properly followed up on, or actually really probably investigated properly, because like he was a higher up in the firm, so they probably really didn't really take that too much consideration. The tea is sadly gone cold. I'm very disappointed in myself. So from there, so they were trying to paint the picture. Our team is trying to present the story in her POV. However, here comes the defense. And if I learned anything from watching Daredevil, okay, it was my only real lawyerist show. But Perry Mason as well. Perry Mason, the HBO one. Gets a little tricky when you come to say, like, every single word you say gets critically analyzed. It really, like, they'll try to deconstruct, like, a simple off phrase you say could literally bite you in the ass in the next interview. And she does, where she tells her, the defense attorney tells the client that, not the client, the plaintiff, that you said that you wouldn't date a boss. You wouldn't date anyone in the work industry. Well, we just found out that you were dating someone that you were, and this, I forgot what the exact title was. I don't know if that he was her superior or they were like colleagues or anything. I forgot what the terminology was. But they were dating for about 6 months, and they got pretty heated pretty fast, and they may have recorded some very non-OnlyFans content. And sadly, it's about to be leaked in a jury. And I'm like, damn. Just damn. Like, again, ladies and gentlemen, I can't even stress this one enough. Always double check that the footage is under your control, because the moment that leaves your possession, Bob's your uncle in that one. There really is no guarantee where that footage is going to go. And just Matlock and everyone just seeing this footage live in front of them, like, thank us as the viewer, we don't get to see the true graphic content of it, but hearing the noise is just like, damn. And that's, ladies and gentlemen, how you destroy your case 101. So we head back over to the firm. They're really, really defeated, considering the fact this really screwed the pooch on them. It really did. Now they're trying to figure out what other angle they could possibly explore this to. Like, what else can they really do to, like, kind of, salvage the entirety. Oh no, we don't go back to the firm yet. We go back to the there's a tiny room where the teams get to meet while they're still in the courthouse, and they're trying to figure out, okay, what's our next move here? And they're like, okay, well, if the defense basically destroyed our client's integrity, now we need to destroy their integrity. So they're trying to find anything against them, and they do find some sort of like public service that the defense the defendant had to do at some point, but the records are sealed. It's not on his public record. So now they got to do some digging and figure that out. To see what entirely happened up there. And, again, like, this entire case is about to be kaput. So the three of them head over to the local precinct where apparently Billy's sister and mother are officers at, and it's a little nice to get a little family, get together during one of these episodes. Even Madeline meeting them both for the first time, getting a little like of a bit of a jibe between them, which is actually kind of sweet. Like, it's one of those weird moments of like honest integrity that I'm like, it's very, very sweet, very sweet. Meanwhile, back at the firm, sadly, Olympia has no choice but to call in the meerkat, played by, again, the lovely Yale girl. I'm gonna butcher the Yale. Her first name's Yale. I apologize. And again, I don't sense the Petra in her. Again, obviously this is like two different shows. I understand that, but like for me, I only knew her as Petra. So her coming into this show was, for me, I was like, what was I expecting from her? Like, I haven't seen her act in 5 years. It's been a while, so I haven't seen her in any other content. So I'm like, what is that like for me personally speaking? And immediately she's straight to the point. You see the glare in her eyes, which I'm like, damn, she really knows how to utilize her facial expressions. As the other three approach back into the office, they let her know that yes, there was an official case against him, but it is sealed. So hopefully they could use this to get into evidence, so they could use it against him in court. However, before all they can quite just leave, the meerkat summons over Matlock, and she's like, well, hold on a minute. Like, I said so many things wrong about you. Because again, this woman, she's just like, she knows the moment you're even about to tell a fib. Not even a lie, a fib. And that's just kind of how the energy is. Where like, she's really calling out Madeline, really making her think of her turns. Because again, Madeline is not Madeline Murdoch. She's Madeline Kingston. So for her, she's like, already trying enough to like pretend to be this person, but now she's got to pretend to be this person in front of a woman who literally knows bullshit. So again, Madeline's just, using the, I'm inexperienced. Like, I'm kind of trying not to screw up over here. That's why I'm a little nervous. But the meerkat's like, nah, something else is wrong. Something else. She even recommends for Madeline to stay behind at the firm, to get a little bit more closer time on her, a little bit more of a microscope view on her, trying to see what she's up against, really. And I'm like, damn, Madeline's like really being pushed a little bit. She's already like struggling enough to keep up with this act, let alone now she's got to really, really double check every minuscule move right now during this case. So by this point, I think the meerkat already assembles like a rough picture of like where the jurors are at right now when it comes to, what side are they choosing right now. It's not looking good for our team. It's not really looking good for them. So they're gonna try the continue the old fashioned approach, do another day in court, see how that goes. Just watch Olympia kind of just do her thing, see if she can like at least try to like mitigate some sort of like real now sensibility for her client, considering the fact, yeah, that sex tape really destroyed every single amount of credibility she had. And when we get there, it doesn't really work. It does not. It doesn't necessarily destroy things more further. It does definitely put some things in question, but it doesn't really sue anyone to like going back on her side. In fact, even more people is jumping off her side. And the Meerkat thinks it's not because of the content of the case. It's because for some reason they just don't take Olympia seriously as a lawyer. Which, again, it's not a feeling you want to have when, like, you're being judged by fellow people and they're basically not intrigued on what you're saying whatsoever. So, it's been not quite soothing for her right now to hear those words right now. And also the evidence that they found cannot be submitted to court. Apparently, the past case would probably bring a bit of, I forgot what the exact words are, but he doesn't allow it. I guess it's not relevant fully to the current climate of this case, so it's not really suited for it. So sadly, they cannot admit it to evidence at this current moment. So from then we return back to the firm. Madeline's kind of been nice and staying put for a while, trying to just get the lay of the land here. I forget. I think she was briefly benched for a bit. But then there was a brief idea that came in where, actually, no, I'm a little out of order here. I remember there is a scene where Madeline and Olympia are in the room with the Meerkat after the jurors kind of like are already in like the position of like they're already going to probably side with the defendant over here. And the Meerkat does have an intriguing idea where apparently all of Matlock's reactions and just her... because again, like it's so infernally, like I guess in a modern day, like I guess I would probably too if I was in that position where like there's like a very like, well, a woman that's basically at that point she should be retired and resting in a courtroom, and she's getting a lot of attention, and the Meerkat believes this could be a tool to their advantage. What if Matlock tries the rest of the case? And obviously Madeline again doesn't have any sort of realistic credibility. She's always lied on paper. So she's really like trying her best to like get out of this sort of thing, but the Meerkat's like, no, this I think is the right move. This could possibly be it. But this is like, you know what? We're gonna get Olivia one more chance. We're gonna try like her way one more time, see what they can do, see if they can like swing on a win here. While Madeline stays put. In the interject, I believe the Olympia mentioned she lost her phone. She can't find it anywhere, but it turns out obviously Matlock has it. So she does a little clever scheme where like she's calling over the flowers. She's kind of giving herself a realistic alibi to why she might be stepping out for a bit to give her some one-on-one time with her phone and laptop, because her laptop has a two-factor encryption that requires her phone. So now that she has the passcode for the phone, she can now get the second passcode for the laptop. And I believe, sadly, Olympia's... I know they try to go back to the courthouse quickly to go to lunch to get another factual thing in the papers, but it doesn't really work. So Olympia heads back over to the firm. She runs into the senior partner again. They start, like, talking about the case, but, some mildly flirting. Again, like, they just kind of want to publicly talk about themselves, but again, we're still in October. We're not quite there yet. Matlock's doing her best on the computer, just waiting as much as she can. But sadly, however, Olympia does show up right as Matlock was trying to get really, really into the laptop. And obviously the shock and reaction. This was the moment where I was calling where, like, this could have been a little bit predictable, but I guess me actually, like, really believing in, like, I just want Madeline to succeed in her mission. I want to find out the next revelation, that even the sheer fact that she could get caught here, again, like, this is, like, the second time in, like, within a 48-minute period where, like, Madeline's almost been caught red-handed about her scheme. But however, she manages to, presumably, accidentally spill a cup of coffee all over it, which damages the laptop. She thankfully manages to kind of swing her way out of, full accusation about possibly breaking into the laptop, as Olympia is kind of like distracted on a lot of different things right now. And one thing that sadly Olympia has to mention is that she has to go with what the meerkat says and let Madeline try the rest of the case. And of course, Madeline is scared shitless because again, this was not part of the plan. She had absolutely zero expectation of ever going to a courtroom in that regard. So now she's screwed. She's screwed in the pooch right now. Of course, we get a side comment from Sarah, who's like already been here for a whole year, never got an opportunity to do any of this, and yeah, now she's watching Matlock kind of get in there and already do her thing in her first 2 weeks there, and she's just not. She's just holding herself back right now. She really, really is. So they decided to do a mock trial in one of the trial rooms to prepare Madeline for this upcoming trial. Again, Madeline, at least using the guise of like, I'm been out of the loop for more than 2 decades, so there's definitely going to be a learning curve, and they are a little supportive about it, but definitely there's a bit of a, yeah, like this is not going to end well, especially with the meerkat acting as the juror, the judge. It's like, yeah, this is not going to end well. This is not going to end well. And even like in the first 2 minutes, like they just instantly destroy her, like not like in a bad way, but they're just basically like saying even like the actual being a lawyer part is like, if you say the wrong things, you will literally be called out on it. So that every single wording you say has to be in that very weird gray territory where like you can say it, but it's not implying anything in any sort of direction. And even the meerkat, like, it instantly just gets into Madeline after that, where she's like, no, it feels like something's wrong here. Like, you're not telling us, like, this isn't truthful. What are you not telling us? And she's like, again, fearing that this is it. This is how I kind of, shake on Madeline, figure out the truth right now. And again, and by the time that Madeline said, like, it's all, this is all an act, or something along that lines. And I'm like, oh shit, is this where she reveals everything? Is this it? Is this cuts corners for her? Actually, no. So apparently she uses it as a guise of like the whole case itself. Again, bringing her own personal opinions to it, where she does admit that this case shouldn't have been picked by the firm in the first place. They should never be on this case, because the fact is that this is a case that is very tricky to handle. It really much is. It kind of boils down to a he said versus she said sort of thing. And it kind of depends on the opinionated. It's really, everything is opinionated. Because at the end of the day, even in modern day dating, there are certain probably decent things that decent people do, and they can be twisted and turned as a negatory thing. You never really know. And Madeline, again, brings up her own experience of like back in the when she was, in the 70s, 80s, doing this, like she would just stay quiet about it. She just wouldn't like, really speak up about it, that that she doesn't really see the, like, I'm not saying it 100% speaking, but like she doesn't see the value in this case, and sadly the client is already outside the door. She hears the whole thing, obviously, distraught the fact that the only person she really trusted on this case basically doesn't even believe in the integrity of her case. And again, like, just Jesus, everything just implodes. So Madeline goes into the silent roof, the silent place that people that are under stress go to kind of like, de-stress a little bit. Olympia shows up, kind of, she understands Madeline, but at the same time, she's also like, well, I can tell there's a bit of issues here. She feels a bit attacked that Madeline thinks that her selection in this case was unjustifiable, that there really shouldn't have been a need to like pick this case. And Olympia said, yeah, no, and any other day, like, probably not. But the reason why she wanted to this case and to win this case was because that she's doing it for the future, that hopefully this case would be a benchmark that, even sexual harassment should not be tolerated in the workplace, that people should feel safe, that they could still, there are successful cases that you go to court for someone doing not even the worst things possible, just like, hey, this is out of my comfort reach, can you please stop? And she's thinking of her daughter as well, that, when she eventually gets into the work field, that she wants her to still be herself. If she wants to party, go ahead. She shouldn't have to like be in fear that there's someone out there who's going to take advantage of her. Like, the fact that these cases and these wins should exist to basically scare those potential people that, hey, don't do this shit, otherwise you're going to get caught. You're going to get sued. You're going to get, you're going to feel it. That's why she wants to win this case. And again, Madeline's, again, like, using everything she can to kind of like get herself out of this, and thankfully it does work as they, now focus on like actually making Madeline a decent lawyer before tomorrow, and Madeline's doing her entire best to like really study, really trying to figure out the flow of things, even having her husband to help her out for a brief bit of like with some words of encouragement. And then we cut over to the next day, where I have Madeline perfectively uses the old lady thing to like really gain a little bit of sympathy points with the jury. It's just the delivery, just like the sly way she's able to like kind of go into like, I kind of don't know what I'm doing, to me like bullishly, like slowly kind of building the momentum to really get to where she's going to, where she essentially got the flagged piece of evidence that they were going to use against him admitted, because he admitted to the fact that, yeah, I did eventually he did admit that, yeah, I did have a sexual abuse case once. It's sealed, but yeah, it happened, because he knows if he lies under oath right now, he's fucked. So either you be honest but fuck yourself over, or you lie and fuck yourself over. So basically you already fucked yourself over, so you might as well just be a truthful person, which again is basically the best thing you can do. So definitely they want some brownie points there, but again, they're still not out of it right now. They still need to win that closing argument to really like nail it home right now. Madeline decides to take full point on that one, and when we get to that point, yeah, she does nail it using her personal experience, where when she was a litigation lawyer, or not the full extent of it, but like when she was always a litigation lawyer, she did have a moment where one of the firm partners got a little bit handsy with her. And she told her husband about it, and they opted to just kind of, okay, just stay away from him. Don't be involved with him. Just walk away. That's kind of all she was able to do. But now in the modern day, that's not a respectful, answer anymore. There should be punishment for those who do these sort of things. And yeah, so thankfully that manages to sway the juries officially, and also managed to get an even bigger payoff for the client, and even give Matlock and Olympia some brownie points with each other, like even like making them dance, and I'm like, this is weird, but it feels earned. And I'm just like, yeah, definitely. I'm a little bit concerned about Madeline's state of mind when it comes to like, is she going to be able to continue forward with this matter in case Olympia does get caught with actually being involved in the opioids issue. And so then we cut back over to, I won't say we go back to the firm, and Olympia's thanking the Meerkat for all of her assistance on the matter. And, they're about to bid each other farewell. But the Meerkat does admit a little bit that, there's a couple of things she was hiding throughout the entire case, where she does admit that I was not pro bono. Apparently, Julian actually covered the cost for it to get Olympia basically the necessary pieces that she needs to win the case. And Olympia manages to admit that, yeah, the firm was briefly going to hire her to be officially on their staff, but Olympia vetoed against it because she didn't fully trust her. Now she does, but, back then she didn't. And, at least, honesty, breathes in that fresh air, like that really like, yeah, like we can be honest with each other. There's no pettiness. We're all adults here. We can always act civil and everything. And she does give her one piece of advice, like just be very careful how she handles this new relationship with the senior partner. Just be careful. You never know. You may be going through a divorce and maybe finish soon, but that doesn't mean that's the end of things. You're still going to have, your work relationship. You're still going to have the joint custody ship. There's going to be a lot of more things. And Olympia actually takes that to heart. She talks to him and she's like, I don't think it's a right move right now for us to date. I think we need to wait even longer, until we can really give some time to breathe, don't let just assume, like, again, because even my thinking, like, you're immediately going to jump into a relationship as soon as you get divorced. It's really the biggest red flag in the world. Now, I know there's the separation period. I know technically that is the weird gray zone where, like, technically if you do meet someone else, you're not really full viable to, but it's a very tricky situation, especially when you have kids. So she tells him, I think we need to press pause on us. I think we need to wait until further down the road. And also she does not want the gossip of her and her love life to be what people talk about. She wants people to talk about her work, her cases, her wins. That's all she wants. And, sadly, if that means putting her love life back on hold, it's what needed, and it does hurt. And Sarah doesn't help things out when she immediately comes in behind that and like literally bugs her like, why didn't you give me credit? Like, why don't you like me? What did I do wrong? And she just says, yeah, like, no, like, there's some things that, you're doing that doesn't make me fully trust you. But she kind of keeps her on her toes when she says, yet. And I'm like, what kind of weird, like, freaking, like, reverse psychology is that? I don't even get it. I really don't get what's going on here. I really don't. We head back over into the junior associate's office where Madeline's kind of teasing Billy a little bit because apparently Madeline and Billy's mom kind of hit it off a little bit. So now they're in communication with each other, which is kind of, again, those weird, honest, cute moments really does bring some levity to the show. And she does, but of course, going back to serious note, she does actually commend him for, like, he may not have gotten the big fancy law degree that a lot of other associates here have. He still did his work, he did his due diligence, and he's here with the rest of them. He's showcasing that you don't need a fancy education to be a good profession. And she's actually encouraging him, like, to, like, actually display your diploma. It doesn't matter you're not from Harvard or Princeton or Stanford. It doesn't matter. You're still a lawyer now. You're here with us. We're all equals, and that's great. That was a really great bonding scene between the both of them. And then the meerkat's just watching her from the distance, like, I'm watching you. Like, there's some things I'm still not done with you yet. I'm pretty sure we'll see her soon. I'm pretty sure we'll see her again in the future. Then I want to say we cut back open to her house, where it turns out there was yet another, gotcha moment. Apparently the laptop that was destroyed by the coffee was not the real laptop. This was a duplication of a random laptop, and no matter what, that laptop was completely obliterated. There was no saving any data on it. So thankfully it worked out, because the fact that if that was, salvageable and they pulled it, they would have said, wait, hold on, this is a brand new laptop. This has nothing on it. So they have the real laptop fully intact, already unlocked, ready to go. So they got all that already, which is great. Which I was a little curious about, because normally when you sleep a laptop, when you close it, it would honestly reset the password. They lost the phone already by that point, so I'm a little confused by that. I'm a little confused. But anyway, so they're looking into it. They're looking around into the files. They do find one off-putting. It's a voice recording, not in fact documents. I'm not really sure who the voice is. It's implied to be Senior, but it's not. I think it's Olympia's dad, because she does mention there was a brief scene I forgot to mention where Matlock actually slips up and mentions a little research she did on the judge, but she tries to pass it off as like personal research for the case. And Olympia does mention that, when she mentioned the fact that the judge was in the Marines, that, like, she mentioned, my father was in the Marines. So that's my assumption. I was a little bit confused by this scene, because, like, Madeline at the end says, like, we're not friends. And I'm like, I'm not sure that was, like, kind of like a motivation for Madeline to kind of keep herself going, the fact she can't get close to anyone here. Because, again, it's going to compromise the entire thing of it. Like, once you get close to each other, and then eventually you find out that, oh, no, they're responsible for it, but, like, they're my friends now. Like, I can't betray my friends. So it's like, it's that weird, tricky scenario. But at the end of the day, Madeline's got a mission. She's going to keep doing it. And that was it for this week's episode of Matlock, which I loved it. I really, really did. I think this was another great episode. I love the meerkat's inclusion. I love just how, really by the flip of a whip that Madeline was to kind of keep herself fully in character and everything. But I'm not surprised, and I'm really happy they're already, like, not diving away from, like, really serious cases, so far with these, like, the actual 2 court episodes they've done so far, or actually all 3 of them. So I'm very happy with their selection, and actually what the connection is, what's going on with the actual characters is really, really great. And again, every week I'm just, like, more and more sold in this cast. I'm more and more invested in this story. I want to see what's next. I really want to know, and I can't wait to see how it progresses. But at least for now, this episode was great. It was really, really great. I can't wait for more. So with that all being said, I'm going to give this episode 2 thumbs up. Let me know down below, what did you think of this week's episode of Matlock? I would love to hear your thoughts down below. As always, would love to have a conversation with you down there. But I believe that's going to do it for me today, everyone. So I know what it's been, What's the 2 from ActionX, reviewing every episode in the first season of Matlock. If you want to know what we're doing normally, What's the 2 besides our Matlock episode reviews, why not we're just doing Matlock? We might have some one-offs there and there. Who knows? I'm really far behind on my one-offs. We also do After the Theater. That's another show we do here in ActionX. So yeah, go check that out if you want to. But if you don't care about Matlock, you're in luck. We'll be back next week with another brand new episode review. I going to try and release it on time. I have a commitment already for the airing. I'm going to try and fit in both Matlock and that. No guarantees on that. It really kind of depends on how things go out that day. But again, we'll see how it goes. But again, you will still get a brand new episode review next week, no matter what. It'll just might be a few hours late or a day late. Who the heck knows? But there will be a new episode review next week. I promise you that. But again, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't yet. Like, share if you want to. Ring that bell and follow us on social media. But until we see each other again very soon, stay safe out there. Be good to each other. And as always, peace out.